Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Dune Prophecy Episode 4. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm just leave a like. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Dune Prophecy, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I will greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, for the most part, I think every episode has topped itself one way or the other. I think Episode 3 is the best episode still up to this episode being premiered. And I was really anticipating this one quite a bit. I was really excited to watch it, seeing how we're going to tune into the second half and what we're going to go through to see how we're going to stick this landing, as we do only have 2 more episodes left after this, because next week is the penultimate, so everything's going to go down on this. And then episode 6, you assume, would just be wrap-up duty. And I will say, I wasn't let down by this episode by any means. But I will say this is probably maybe second to last favorite episode for me personally. And also, this was the episode to me where I felt the runtime the most. Now, it wasn't in the beginning, because in the beginning it was going by really fast. It was very quick, like everything that we were doing. It was about the time when we cut back to the bar or to the club with the rebels, and they were going through their game plan after they got done grabbing whatever, I forgot what it was, but it had the little triangle in there too that they were going to use to like scout the palace to get the spice to flow through. That part is when I started to feel like, oh man, I'm starting to feel the runtime a little bit, and we were only about 20 minutes in. The first 20 minutes, really good. Loved everything that we were doing. The other thing that I had a problem with within this episode, not with just the runtime, I don't even think the runtime was necessarily a problem. I just think maybe we could have done a little bit of editing to make it flow a little bit better, because some scenes just dragged on a little too bit. And I do think the episode overstayed its welcome a little bit. I think once Desmond, cleared house of all of the traitors, if you will, because they got the rebels that were putting stuff into the house, except for the main one, are Atreides. And then, of course, the other guy who told the Harkonnen to, snitch, pretty much. And, he kills them all. I think we could have wrapped up there and just sent the show home, because that was such a great cliffhanger. But we didn't do that. We kept going on. I like the stuff that we did going on later after that as well. But it did feel a little bit tacked on to me personally. But the other thing that I didn't like, and it wasn't necessarily within this episode, because in this episode, they finally started using her a lot more. And I know at the end of the day, this is more about Mother Valia, and Mother Tula is the second lead part of this, and it's about the sisterhood. But we spent so much time in episode 1 really beefing up this princess and how important she is. She's part of this prophecy. She's part of a bigger plan. We need to make sure that she's okay. And I also feel like we just forgot about her in episode 2 and 3. She had a little bit of a presence in episode 2. She wanted to ask where her sister went after she died, and she wants to know exactly how she passed. And then episode 3, it was more about the flashback, so I get why she wasn't in there completely. Then episode 4, again, she was given a lot more to do, and I did start to finally feel that presence a little bit. But besides her one scene at the at the Congress table, where she does out her dad and the Emperor and Desmond, and they're all there, and she's like, nope, they're the ones who did it, because she wants, retribution pretty much for who she sees as her surrogate mother. And I also really like the dynamic between the princess and the mom as well, because the mom wants to rule. She's very much jealous of the sisterhood because they took her husband away, and now she has no say anymore, and now she sees this opportunity where she can have a say finally. I like everything that we're doing with that dynamic. I just want to see it more. I want to see that clash a little bit. Hopefully we get that in episode 5, now that, everything's been out. And, she tried to get him to undermine him a little bit. And then, nope, he just turned out to be more powerful. Now it's like, no, you can't say anything to me, otherwise we will kill you, even though it does hurt Desmond a little bit. He got some blood on her. Mother Valia was like, an opportunity, so now we can even out the playing field. Liked all of that. I just need more. Because, again, we made it seem like she was so important. And, again, I was so intrigued by her character in episode 1. And, she had a little, not a hiss fit, but, she had that moment at the dinner table where she's like, I'm not going to stand side by side as long as he's here because, killed her surrogate mother. Then she has the scene at the club where I really thought, like, wow, we're really about to go 4 for 4 on sex scenes in this show. Glad we didn't do it. Glad he pushed her away. When he didn't push her away, just declined. I was like, okay, all right, so we're building to something there. And then she has that moment, and I just hope episode 5 is more about the Emperor, the mom, because again, I just feel like we could do a little bit more over there too, because Mother Valiant, we got a lot of work done. I think if anything, she could take a little bit of a back seat. Mother Tula has been getting more and more exposure as the show goes on. And I think this episode in particular got me more invested within the sisterhood story quite a bit. I mean, the opening of just, everyone's having the same exact nightmare, but only one was actually sleepwalking. She goes to, and then the only sister who doesn't have it saves her, stops her from it. And then the girl who has been in a coma from doing the whole thing that in episode 2 happened. And then she wakes up, she has the blue eyes. You gotta assume she knows the truth now. Maybe it's gonna take her a little bit to get that, to remember that truth that her mother or grandmother showed her of what truly happened. She did not commit, she did not off herself. It was the work of Mother Valia, and seeing how that conflict goes into play too. And also, will they use her to help her beat Desmond? All of that is really good, and everything within the sisterhood and the clashes. And I love the art scene as well. Like, tell me what y'all seen. Like, oh, I lost control completely. And then it goes back to Desmond, and we'll see, oh, this is what he saw when he went inside the sandworm, and it does look like the sandworm did get from powers. Loved all of that. I really did. It's just something about with the runtime and especially in the use of the Emperor storyline that just made it feel a little bit off, that just wasn't fully attached to within this ride. Because now that I'm talking about it with y'all, there's a lot of things I liked about it. I just talked about most of them. Loved everything we did with Mother Valia. Loved everything we did with Mother Tula. Loved everything we did with the sisterhood. I like when we did use the Emperor and we did use the sister and we used that whole family dynamic and seeing where these go. I did like all that. Something was just missing. I just don't fully know what it was. And I think it does just come back down to runtime, where I just think some scenes just need to be cut a little bit short. And I think maybe the way that it ended fell a little bit off too. I did like that ending sequence, how, she does let her uncle die because, she hasn't been so hurt and she needs that control. And then she does see her brother, but it's not really her brother. It turns out one of the sisters is a shapeshifter. I'm not sure what that is called, but I am very intrigued to see how that is into play. Do we use that now that we have Desmond's blood? Maybe she turns into Desmond and offs the Emperor? I don't know. It will be very, very interesting to see how we move on playing forward within it. I guess overall I did like it. I liked every episode. It was just this one in particular, I guess since episode 3 was such a high, this one came down a little bit. But overall, I had a good time with it. Again, it just comes down to the runtime and the usage of the scenes, where I just think, yeah, we could have cut a little thing here and make it a little bit tighter. Maybe the editing could have been a little bit better flown, where it didn't feel so choppy to me. Because again, after the 20-minute mark, I did start to feel a little bit, maybe it's the Rebel storyline that I'm just not the hugest fan of. I thought I would be more attached to it because we do have an Atreides, and I do like everything that we're doing with this actor. But it just seems like every time we cut to it, and I know they're trying to get the spice, and they think that that's wrong, that this empire gets to keep all this spice and gets the control of it. They want to give it back to the people. I just want to know more about it. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about it down in the comment section. Y'all probably very confused by this review because you're like, wow, he said he wasn't the hugest fan of it, but then he just kept promoting all these things that he really liked about it. I'm just as confused as you are. I really don't know. I liked a lot of things that we did in it. I just wasn't a huge fan of the execution of it. So leave a like if you made it this far. I would greatly appreciate that. And hit that subscribe button as we do continue on this ride together. And we have a lot of things heading your way very soon, especially in 2025. We got Creature Commandos on Thursdays. What If is going to start next week. If you're into wrestling, we do Raw and SmackDown reviews as well. Saturday night's main event is this Saturday. Got a lot of stuff heading your way, especially in 2025. So get ready for that. Hit that subscribe button for going on that ride with us. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.